Are you not moving forward on a product because you're afraid the niche is or might suddenly get saturated? Looking for products that meet specific criteria, such as the level of competition, isn't enough. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 additional key factors that will help you spot currently or soon to be saturated niches by diving deeper into the data and possibly saving yourself from making a costly mistake. Coming up. What's up, guys? Crescent here. On this channel, I share tips and strategy videos, just like this one, on how to succeed on Amazon private labeling. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Let's get started. So I'm sure you've all seen or read horror stories where sellers have spotted products that looked great, then when the product is finally manufactured and reaches Amazon's warehouse ready to sell, suddenly they realize that the niche is saturated and the product sells poorly. Well, that's because just looking at the sales volume and reviews isn't enough. There's 3 additional data points that no one else is teaching that will reveal a lot about the current and future state of a niche. First, which no one seems to talk about, wouldn't it be great if you could somehow see how many new sellers there are that have recently entered the niche? That information would give you some insight into how saturated the niche is becoming, wouldn't it? If there were a whole bunch of new sellers within the last few months, then you can be certain that the niche is going to get crowded real quick, right? Well, no product research tool gives you that information, except that there is, in the Amazon listing itself, as well as the Chrome extension called Keepa. I'll leave links in the description. So the first thing you want to do is go to keepa.com and install the browser extension for the browser you have. So for me, it's Google Chrome. So click it, and it's already installed here, but if not, click the install button, okay? Now there's no button up here for you to use the extension. It just works inside the Amazon listing when you pull each listing up, all right? So let's go to Amazon and let's use a saturated, a known saturated product, like a, let's do letterboards, okay? Now, we all know that this is a super saturated niche. Several months ago, the numbers looked good, and so a lot of people jumped in on it at the same time and then oversaturated the market, okay? So don't do this product, and I'm gonna show you how you can use this tactic here to evaluate any niches that you're looking at to see if it already is saturated, okay? So what you're gonna do here is pull up Jungle Scout. Okay, and once it loads, what I recommend is pulling up every single listing on the first page. So just click on each one and let it load. All right, now if you want to take a quick look, you can see here that the numbers actually don't look too bad, right? But remember, this is a super saturated niche, and you'll be able to tell through this tactic that it's a bad product to get into, okay? So what you want to do now is go back to the first listing and scroll down, and you'll notice that there's a new area here, section from Keepa, okay? And the first thing you want to do is go to settings and make sure that the graph to show is set to new only and the range is set to all right? And then go back to price history. And you can see here that this is showing the price difference over time. And what you're going to look at here, the important value is the day. 384 days that this listing has been active in Amazon Marketplace, okay? And what you're going to do is go down and count how many of them are new listings. I would consider new anything less than 6 months old, okay? So let's take a look. So not this one. And keep going. Not this one. Not this one. Okay, so this is pretty close. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7, 8, 9. All right, 9 out of the top 18 listings here are all brand new listings, right? So you can see that everybody's flooding this market. So this is a bad idea. So even though if the numbers look good, you don't want to get in there, because as soon as you jump in there, you're going to be competing with all of these brand new sellers. All right, so you can use this tactic to judge the market saturation for each niche. Okay? All right, so let me show an example of a product that isn't saturated. All right, now this product I looked at in the past, and the numbers look really good a few months ago. So I'm not recommending that you do this product now, although it isn't technically a bad product. It's just become more saturated, but it's a great example for me to show you what I'm talking about. All right, so if we look at the Jungle Scout data, okay, so you can see here that the competition isn't too bad. It's gotten more competitive for the last couple months, obviously. So what you're going to do here is open up every single one of these listings again on the first page. Okay, and then once they're all loaded, go back to the first one, and again, I'll show you the difference in market saturation here, okay? So the first listings have been around for 248 days. This one, 389, 1100 days, 256, 821, 795. Here's one new listing here, 582, 1400, 591, 453, 627, 760, 569, 627, and 627. Okay, so you can see on this one, out of all the listings on the first page, there's only one new listing. All right, so you can use this valuable data here to judge how saturated the market is. You don't want to be competing with a whole bunch of new sellers, because after you get in, there's going to be a whole influx after you as well, right? Because everybody's seeing these same numbers. All right, so I hope you can use this secret data analysis technique here to your advantage. All right, moving on. So the second technique to judge market saturation is to look at the historical price trends, okay? So if you can look at the price history and see over time, if the price isn't sustainable and everybody's been continually lowering their price, especially on the listings that have been around for a while, the 6 months and older listings, then you know that the higher price point isn't sustainable, okay? So again, with Keepa, I'll show an example of a saturated market. So we'll use the letterboards again. All right, so what we're gonna do is pull up the Jungle Scout data. And what you wanna do is take a look at some of the older listings and see if they were able to sustain the price point, okay? And then look at some of the newer listings too and see and compare. All right, so like for example, you can tell the older listings generally because they have more reviews, right? So let's take a look at this one. He's number 1 ranked. And we'll come down here and we'll take a look at the Keepa data. They've been around for just over a year. You can see they launched at $37.99 and over time the price has fallen, okay, to $18.95. Now let's look at the second one. Okay, they've been around for almost a year and there's not enough data on this one. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And they've been around for almost a year. And you can see here, they tried a higher price point. And again, it's not sustainable. And the price has fallen in half from $50 down to $25.99. Okay, let's take a look at some of these ones here. All right, been around for almost 6 months. You can see here, started off high and then the price has fallen, okay? So it shows that the market, there's too much competition. They can't get the higher premium price. So all the sellers have had to lower their price, right, to generate sales. Okay, so for example, let's just pull, we'll pull up another one just to verify some more. Okay, this one doesn't have enough data. Let's look at this one. Okay, see here, unable to sustain the $40 price range, and it's fallen down to 26. Okay, and they've been around for 3/4 of a year. Okay, so that's a saturated market. You can tell by their historical price trends. They're unable to sustain the higher price point, and the entire niche has trended downwards over time. Okay, all right, so now let's look at an example that isn't saturated. An avocado saver. This is a product that I've looked at in the past. Okay, so let's look at the Jungle Scout data here. All right, so let's take a look at this number one listing. Okay, they've been around for 1,400 days. And you can see here the price has actually trended upwards. Okay, they started off at $7 and now they're asking, $8, $9, $10. Okay, let's take a look at the second one. They've been around for 2,500 days. And the same thing here, their prices have trended upwards. All right, let's take a look at the third one. Similar, prices have trended upwards. Let's take a look in some of these ones down here, like this 10th position. Okay, so this is a fairly new one. And there's not enough data really here. Looks like they ran out of stock or something, so that's not a good example. Let's look at this one here. Okay, see the price has remained pretty constant, right? It hasn't been dropping. Okay, so you can kind of see on this one, all the listings have either maintained the same price over time or they've actually increased the price. Okay, this one's too new, 16 days. Let's look at this one. Okay, 1,300 days. See, the prices remain pretty constant. Okay, I hope you can see the difference here now. All right, one pro tip while we're here is we all know that while you're doing product research, you need to make sure that all your criteria are met as far as sales velocity and competition. But one thing you need to take note is that if the listings are new, the data you're seeing is irrelevant and you need to omit them, right? Because the sales velocity that you're seeing is generated from their product launch, from their PPC, and from their giveaways, right? So that data is irrelevant. So you need to make sure you go through all the listings, and even though the niche might look good on these numbers here, go through all the listings and use this tactic to check the age of those listings. And if they're less than 5 or 6 months old, the data there is skewed. The data is from their PPC and their product giveaway sales, not organic sales. So you need to omit them, okay? Make sure you're aware of that. All right, so lastly, another method you can use to tell if a niche is saturated or not is by using the PPC bid data, right? Now the advantage here is if there's a lot of sellers competing for keywords, that's gonna spike up the cost of those keywords, right? And so in my experience, anything over $2 to $3 is a super saturated market. There's a lot of people competing for those keywords. Now, if there wasn't much competition, the cost of those keywords are gonna be way less, like under $1. All right, so how can you use that to your advantage? So if you have Jungle Scout and you have the web app, they have a new tool called Keyword Scout, which actually pulls the Amazon bid data and shows you what the actual bids are for those keywords. And what's convenient about it is you don't have to go in to Seller Central and create a product listing and a manual pay-per-click campaign and then put together a relevant keyword list to see the bid data, right? It's so convenient and powerful. So let's use an example again of a saturated niche, such as the letterboards. All right, and you can see here in these columns, you have the exact bid and the broad bid data that's straight from Amazon. And you can see here that they're over $2, right, for these keywords. And we know that letterboards is a saturated niche, even $3, right? $3. Okay, so you can use this tool to tell if the niche is saturated or not. So let's go back and let's do a niche that isn't saturated, like the avocado savers. All right, And again, you look at the bid data, and you can see that it's under $1 for these, right? On average, it's under $1. So you can see that on a non-saturated niche, there's less competition for the keywords, and so that's reflected in the cost of the keywords. All right, so if you found a potential product on Amazon using Jungle Scout Chrome extension, you can use the bid data to help you verify if that niche is saturated or not. So one other thing I want to point out is that you can use this data to help you from getting into a niche that's super competitive. So maybe it's not saturated, and maybe all the data and criteria pass, right? But if you look at the bid data and you can see that it's $3 or higher to compete for these keywords, you might consider not getting into the niche because of the barrier to entry, right? You're going to have huge costs trying to launch your product to get your listing ranked onto the first page, because paying for these keywords is going to eat up all of your budget. All right, so just be aware that you can use this data in more ways than one. All right, now if you don't have Jungle Scout web app and you're not able to use the Keyword Scout tool, you can create a manual pay-per-click campaign in Seller Central to get the bid data, right? So choose a sponsored product campaign here and then give it a test name of some kind. And then you don't want to spend any money on this campaign, so just put $1 and make sure you choose manual targeting. Okay, give it a name. And then if you don't have a product already, you're gonna have to create a new listing and then choose that product. And then over here, enter your keywords. So put together a list of relevant keywords and paste them here. You'll be able to see the Amazon bid data for those keywords. All right? So keep this tactic in mind while you're doing product research from now on. And if you have any existing product ideas, re-examine them and let me know in the comments if this was helpful, especially if it helped change your decision on a product. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, give it a thumbs up or share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, subscribe. And to make sure that you never miss a future video, click the bell icon to turn on notifications. And if you're looking for more tips and strategy videos, click or tap over here. There's also a link in the description to our community forums, which you should totally join. And as always, thanks for watching.